Seeking Secrets is a social experiment where strangers share honest and complex truths. We ask that you treat the participants with respect. Thank you for listening to their stories.
My grandpa died 2 years ago, and I laugh because he abused me when I was a child. You died. 2 months later, she died. I hope one day I can see him again.
When it comes to death, for me at least, I've always been very fearful of it ever since I was younger. And not so much of death, but the afterlife, because there's so many different religions and beliefs. And it was very scary to me to not know, which was for sure. When I was 16, my dad was murdered. And I just didn't feel, and to this day, I hardly feel like a spiritual connection to him after he passed. So that kind of freaks me out too, because maybe there is reincarnation, and that's why I don't feel their spirit or their presence. I don't feel that much pain after a week of losing someone.
Well, she talked about kind of losing her dad, which really, I guess, struck a chord with me just because I lost my dad, she said, at 16, and I lost my dad at 15. When she said that she didn't feel a lot afterwards. Typically, when I think of someone losing somebody, I think of somebody going through all the emotions.
When did you let yourself start feeling those feelings of loss?
Honestly, sometimes I'm stuck in denial, but it's only because I haven't let myself think about it. When my grandma passed, it was like, okay, you have to focus on getting into college. Grandpa passed, it was still like, okay, you're in college, you have to keep going, you can't fall behind. And then with my mom, the same thing. And if I take that moment to sit and really think and let my emotions come out, I'm scared that I'll be stuck there.
Hi, I just wanted to talk really quick about my grandma. She just passed away, and it is a tremendous loss. When all of us were going through her items and deciding who would get what and seeing family members fight over different things, it just felt really, really gross and icky. And we just felt like vultures almost.
That one actually hit really close to home right now. My grandmother's still alive. She's at that age where she's really old already. We're actually thinking about what would happen to her things. And it sucks that a lot of it's probably gonna get thrown away.
My grandfather passed away pretty suddenly, and him and I were best friends. When he passed away, my grandma got rid of everything. I couldn't get anything from him. I have one article of clothing of his and a little oxygen tool that he used for his, oxygen mask. I have that, but that's it. Seeing family and friends fight over material things when someone had just passed away, that shouldn't matter.
I wouldn't want to give away her things. Because I think about it too, because she has so much stuff. And, I'm actually really not ready to lose her. I'm sorry, I love my grandma.
When I was 19, my mom was a heavy drinker, ended up taking a lot of pills that were legal, that were given to her for back pain and various reasons. The sad part is she was a functioning mom and alcoholic and, drug addict. Then one day she just spiraled and moved out. I was so mad at her that I wanted her to die. And I figured if she was gone, life would be easier and there would be less stress. And 2 months later, she died. And the worst part about it is I wanted her gone so badly. And then when she was finally gone, it wasn't what I wanted at all.
Wow. So my mom actually had an alcohol problem too. Just initially hearing that, I was immediately triggered by it. I was like, oh. And then just hearing what she had to say, I related to a lot of it, not necessarily with the hopes that my mom would go away. More so, I would say the opposite. I lost my grandparents, and I feel like that kind of like made her spiral a little bit, so she was drinking a lot. That's what ultimately, killed her. Yeah, hearing that definitely, very similar stories, I would say.
In 2020, my mother passed away, and ever since then, it's only really been my dad and I. He has a lot of anger issues, and he gets cranky a lot. He gets mad if you don't do one thing for him. There are also other things he's done before my mom passed away, so there's just a lot of pent-up anger I also have towards him. Wishing death upon a person is very strong, but there have been times where I have probably felt that way towards my father.
My grandpa died 2 years ago, and I laughed because he abused me when I was a child.
I've always wondered what it would be like when my dad passes. I don't speak to him anymore because he was very abusive. Doesn't matter if they're family, if they abuse you. I mean, I don't know if I would laugh when he passes. It's sad when anyone dies, but I don't even know if I'd be sad, which is really sucks because he is my dad. I really miss the relationship we used to have.
I don't really know what to say. I bet she just has this huge weight lifted off her shoulders, that she doesn't have to face this person anymore. I'm guessing because that was Grandpa, she saw him a lot. I'm angry that she was abused and she was hurt. I'm not saying they deserve to die in any way. I hope she can heal from that. And if that brings her closure, then good.
This November, I found out I was pregnant, and at 12 weeks, we found out that we were having twins. And at that same appointment, we found out that our little girl was dead. Our boy twin survived, but I just know that everyone wanted a girl, and I couldn't keep her alive. I have been pregnant 5 times with 6 children, and I have only brought 2 into this world. I miss her every day. I miss all my babies every day.
I have been pregnant 3 times, and I have 1 son that's alive here today. I got pregnant at 19 and with my then husband, and I was 8 months pregnant, and I went to the hospital and they told me that they didn't hear a heartbeat, and so she was a stillborn, so I still had to give birth and go through the whole process. And I very much relate to that, still feeling that pain that was in 2018, and when 2022 now. So if there wasn't something wrong with me that happened, that's my body, that maybe just the whole chain of events wouldn't have happened.
Society has put on so much pressure for women to make sure that a pregnancy goes full term. I couldn't imagine all those losses and all that guilt that weighs on her. And so I would tell that mom, please don't punish yourself for something that is out of your control, because I know you would keep that child healthy as long as possible and forever if you could.
When I was, I want to say, 9, my great uncle passed away. Most people aren't super close with their great uncles, I guess, but I was. The last time I saw him, we had gotten in an argument because I was really young at the time, and I was throwing stuff, and he got really mad at me. I just said, I hate you, and I've always regretted it. I hate myself for saying that. I miss him dearly, and yeah. I love you, Uncle Jack.
When you're little, you don't realize the weight that your words hold. She was 8, 9 years old. She didn't expect that to happen after she said that she hated him. I just really wish she didn't hate herself, because she didn't know.
When my sister passed, it was so unexpected. She was perfectly healthy, and I didn't think the day that I last talked to her would be the last day I talked to her. Feeling like you didn't get closure from the last, interaction you had with them, it's really devastating.
My mom and I are more like best friends than we are like mother and daughter because we're so close. There have been times where I'll like scream at her and tell her I hate her and I don't want to talk to her anymore. And I've only seen my mom cry like 3 times in my life. And I saw her cry after an argument we had. It was like one of the 3 times, and that's when I knew that I shouldn't have said that. It really hurt her feelings.
I am a very religious person, and I had a great grandfather who I never truly knew if he believed in the Lord or not. And there was this one time where I had a chance to speak to him about it. And I remember sitting there and just having this pounding in my chest, like saying, say something about it. And I never did. And then a week later, he passed away. And I fear that I could have been his only door into salvation if he hadn't found it already, and I let it pack me up.
I can relate to that. I also grew up Christian. I know that feeling of wanting and craving everyone that's close to you to have that connection and that relationship with God that you do. I think in a way that there is this sense of guilt within the church. You're taught that if you don't believe in it, you're condemned to hell. Kind of similar to what she said of feeling like, oh, I could have been that salvation for him, but that's not up to us at the end of the day. That's a choice that her grandfather made. That's something that if he was at peace with, that's not something she should have changed. I think that she should be at peace knowing that wherever her grandfather did go is where he intended to be.